draw. Hard to admit that I used to draw portraits. Had a unicorn, it was soothing. Moving his arm in a fusion of man-made tools and amused from beyond. Even if it went beautifully wrong, it was tangible truth for a youth to refuse to belong. No name nuisance, who's in a bedroom, who's in a brand new cuneiform. Barely commune with the horde, got a whole grayscale ungluing his world. Might zone amp to the yap of a magpie. Unseen hand dragging his graphite. Cross contour, little bit of backlight. Black ink after a Bristol to baptize. You can imagine a rush that ensue when you get 3 dimensions stuffed in a 2. Then it's off to a school where it's all you get to. Being trained and observed by a capable few. Back in New York by peeps and a dog in a 2-bedroom doing menial jobs. Plus rhyming and stealing and being a clod. Distractions, freedom, a rod. I left some years of giving a light. I left some will the spirit away. I let my fears materialize. I let my skills deteriorate. Horn about a thought of what I should have been. Continuing a mission that was rooted in a 20-year affinity and rickety condition with an ID crisis. Snap on the front lawn, look up in the sky. It's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. And now we're colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Used to paint, hard to admit that I used to paint. Natural light on a human face, stenciled fire in his roommate's face. It was bloom and addiction, a miss and a push and a pigment. Book like a tattooed pigskin look. Pinhead kids in a minute. Drank Kool-Aid from a tube of acrylic. And I grew up in a linseed oil ever linen. Joy to the poison, voice to the resin. Capture a map of a gesture. Back up, add a little accurate fat to the figure. Redo that, move that inward. Zinc white lightning shoots from his fingers. Studio strewn with illusion and tinctures. Stay tuned for the spooky adventures. You can imagine the stars that align when a forearm starts foreshortening right, or a torso hung on a warping spine in proportion. Reads as warm and alive. Routine day with a dirt cheap brush. Then a week goes by and it goes untouched. Then 2, then 3, then a month, and the rest of your life to beat yourself up. I left some seasons eager to fall. I left some work to bury alive. I let my means of being dissolved. I let my person curl up and die. Eating up his innards and unfeasible anxiety is brutally committed to relinquishing his privacy, aligning with the trials of the anti-Midas. Snap on the back lawn, look up in the sky. It's
Thank you, Larry. Brandon Gaudin, along with Charles Davis here in the booth. We are set for a spectacular draft champions matchup and some spectacular talent on your screen right now. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get down to the field for kickoff. And it's the birth of a new club as we're underway in draft champions. This is fielded at the goal line. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. Now it's the Boise State alum, Jay Ajani. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It's a loss of 5 there, bringing up second. And the offense there, the O-line, everybody really on offense, they were just manhandled at the point of attack.
Yeah, you could pretty much call them all out, couldn't you? Almost by name, right? That was a very tough sequence for the offensive line. But how about that defensive front, creating a new line of scrimmage and creating a lost yardage possibility? That was not a completion that results in a highlight video. But at the same time, if you have those kind of completions all game long, eventually one of them might turn into a highlight.
Third down, a shot here for Dalton. Drops it underneath to Elliott. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and that'll bring up 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
throwing. Dalton got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. I don't know if I agree with that. I guess they don't care if I agree with that. But, boy, you have to be surprised by that, right?
I definitely was surprised that they decided to go for it in this situation. But they must have either felt like they either had a great play call on or they're trying to show extreme confidence.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Now, that's the type of play that'll fire up a defense. Hold them to 1 yard on a first down run. It'll be interesting to see if the offense decides to press the run at all, or if they'll abandon it now after gaining only 1 on that play.
Dancing to his left. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Well, there was pressure all around him, so the only play was to try and get out of there. I think it was an excellent effort by him just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And they'll need to get to the 35 if they want to keep this drive going on 3rd down. Time running out here on the play clock. Here's Dalton. He's got his man on the crossing route. The 13 yards that time of the first. And the pocket's been protected pretty good here so far on the opening drive.
We always talk about confidence in runners and catchers and quarterbacks. How about the protection detail? They're not allowing anyone near the guy throwing the football.
This is Ajayi. He'll get it to the 23-yard line. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. See if they stay on the ground for 2nd down. They run again with Ajayi. And this time not as successful as he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. And a tackle there by Quan Alexander. This will be play number 9 coming up on this relatively long opening drive as they look to convert on 3rd down. Ready to go now in the 2nd quarter. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis. It's the Raiders in possession of the football. And they're driving, but they come up on a 3rd and short here. Despite only needing 1, Dalton to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well. And how about this first drive? They're being aggressive, slinging it around.
Really confident, too, because they're not trying to fool them with running plays, throwing it, and they're being very successful right now.
Dalton operating in the red zone now. Trying to force it to Hopkins, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Quan Alexander. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Very tough spot here for the offense to start. After the interception, here's Ryan. Got his target, Pierre Garçon. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks. So the offense has it 1st and 10.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and get the quarterback a really nice target. There's completion to the tight end, and I think that we're looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely. I mean, size, the hands.
Speed. I mean, can flat out run. You put that whole package together, you light up the eyes of an offensive coordinator, don't you?
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
All right, partner, despite my eating habits, I'm not big enough to play offensive tackle, nor am I quick enough. But with the defensive ends nowadays and their speed, those guys have to be able to punch and dance, and it's a tough, tough job to contain them.
That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down. So completion on 2nd down, that brings up 3rd. 2 minutes remain in a scoreless first half. Back to Tennessee after this. On 3rd down, Ryan. And he dropped it. Now it was tipped. Altered the ball a little bit, but he dropped it. And now 4th down. On 4th down on now is the lefty Ryan Allen to punt. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And the interception thrown in the red zone last time. We'll see if they can rebound.
I just have to think the last thing he said as they went back out there was, don't do that again. What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that. I think that not only did he say that, But he also told him, let's put it in the end zone that it's supposed to be in, all right? The end zone we're trying to score. I know we're being a little bit facetious here, but the bottom line is take care of the football, and everything else should flow from there.
Quick lesson, never ask the play-by-play guy a question.
Hey, you're my partner. I know you're right there with me. Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone. Today's NFL, these big guys are featured receivers. They move them all over the place to try and find good matchups, and they had one. They were just unable to complete the pass.
They run with Ajayi. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a 4th down. They were in the 4-3. Mike linebacker made a great tackle.
And when that happens, generally it means that the guys up front, the 4 down defensive linemen, have absorbed all the blockers and allowed him to run free to the football. He ends up with a textbook tackle.
Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And the Jags take over in terrific field position. And now out come the Jags. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. Here's Ryan. And Fasano here brings it in. And he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Here's Ryan to throw. Over the middle to Garcon. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Pierre Garcon as the first half is winding down. And the Jags are able to cash in for 6. And this one through the uprights and good. Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And the ball backed way up. So thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these 2 teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up that.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10. They'll put 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. 1st and 10 for Dalton. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
On any passes in the middle of the field, anyone who's going after the football is going to be conscious that it's probably going to be contested, and often physically. Sometimes that leads to drops.
Passing again. Dalton on 2nd and 10. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And this will be incomplete. 1 second left to go.
One thing I know from experience is that when the deep ball is thrown and you're the defender, you've got to fight that little bit of panic that emerges. You've got to play the ball really well. It's a 50-50 jump ball play. And guess what? They took a shot. How are you going to win it? And in this case, they managed to get it done.
So we've reached halftime with just the lone touchdown here. 7-0 is our score. As we'll send you down to Orlando, where Larry Ridley has our EA Sports halftime report. Larry, both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And they've got it. They recovered it. But hang on now, though. There's a penalty flag down. Really nice starting field position here for the offensive unit. On 1st and 10, it's Ryan. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. 10 yards still left on 2nd down.
And there's a good opportunity to just went awry there. A drop pass. I guess that's why they call them running backs and not catching backs.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Jack Youngblood in there to bring him down. down for a loss of 7. Well, there was second long. Now it's third and even longer. They're going in the wrong direction here.
Because they're moving exactly the way they want to, but you're exactly right. Definitely going in the wrong direction for the offensive guys.
Tim Brown, the intended target, and that brings up fourth down. Here's Ryan Allen now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And that'll hit in the end zone. Much too much leg there. That'll be a touchback. So here comes the Raiders offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter 3.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn up at the half. I think we can go inside the locker room, all right? And I think we would see up on the grease boards, stop them defensively, get the ball back for the offense, and let's go downfield and score. Seems simple, right? The last part, we have to find out if that's going to happen. But the first part worked to perfection. Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
See if they can get the latter 50%. Trying to force it to Hopkins, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the safety here, Ron Parker. And he's able to get it back here